friend Julia's demand to split the bill evenly triggered a heated dinner showdown about fairness and pride, testing my friendship and boundaries. My thumb hovers over the send button, and for a moment I consider turning off my phone instead. I'm Marina, 29, living in Portland, Oregon, and I can't remember the last time I felt this nervous about dinner. Money. Been tight ever since my freelance gigs slowed down, but I refuse to let that be a reason to skip out on the one thing that keeps me sane, my friends. At exactly 4:02 p.m., I tap out a group text to our circle of 5. Dinner at Bistro Luna tonight? The seconds stretch as I watch the little ellipses bubble on the screen, each one echoing my heartbeat. Yes, count me in, love that place. What time? Their enthusiastic replies flood, and almost immediately, relief washing over me. I breathe a shaky sigh, then pinch the bridge of my nose. The plan's in motion, and there's no turning back now. Spend the rest of the afternoon packing my apartment, consulting menus online, and doing math in my head that would make a CPA jealous. If I order the grilled salmon and tray at $18.50, plus one shared appetizer at $10.25, and split a creme brulee 3 ways, because really, I don't need a whole dessert, I'd land somewhere around $20 out of pocket. Splitting evenly, though, would be $36.50 each. That's more than I can justify tonight. I set a timer for 15 minutes, just long enough to let my anxiety settle, and then head out the door. The early June air is crisp against my cheeks as I make the 20-minute walk down cobblestone streets, passing flickering cafe lights and couples drifting into weekend mode. My palms are damp by the time I reach Bistro Luna's ivy-covered facade. Inside, the warm glow of string lights and the fragrant hum of garlic and rosemary welcome me. I spot our booth in the back corner, Julia already there, waving with her oversized tote hanging off one shoulder, Mark and Jenna leaning in over their menus, Tony perched halfway between the table and the bar, pretending he isn't starving. They greet me with big hugs and easy laughter, like nothing's changed since the last time we all fit around this battered wooden table. But I feel the weight of unspoken tension in the air, the knowledge that as soon as the check comes, late-night confessions and shared fries will give way to math and awkward silences. Marina, you made it, Julia says, her voice bright. I manage a smile and nod, sliding into the booth. Would have hated to miss this, I lie, my heart pounding. I smooth my hands into my lap, stealing a glance at the laminated menu, mentally ticking off every option. Dinner tonight won't just be dinner. It'll be the moment when my principals face their toughest test yet. What if I can't keep my cool when push comes to shove? Because tonight's bill will be the moment of truth for my principals. Booth's vinyl seat sticks to my jeans as I slide in, and I force a deep breath before the server arrives. I'm staring at the menu like it's a final exam. Around me, my friends are already plotting indulgence. Julia's eyes light up at the lobster ravioli. Mark is practically drooling over the steak frite. Jenna is debating between the truffle fries and the charcuterie board. Tony gives me a sidelong grin and orders the duck confit without a second thought. When it's my turn, I clear my throat. I'll have the mixed green salad, please, and just sparkling water. My voice comes out steadier than I feel. They exchange quick glances, but no one comments, yet. I steel myself as the server walks away and the familiar tightening in my chest sets in. Budget mode. Engaged. I watch Julia lean forward to whisper, "Everything okay?" I squeeze her sleeve. "Just saving for rent." She nods, but her brow furrows, sympathy mixed with something like disappointment. First plates arrive in a parade of color and aroma. I grip my fork, letting my eyes flick from one friend's dish to the next. Lobster ravioli, $24.85. Steak frites, $32.10. Duck confit, $28.40. Charcuterie board, $15.75. Truffle fries, $9.50. Every dollar they spend is a spike in my stomach, reminding me of my own $12.30 salad. I stare at my empty plate, imagining the lettuce leaves and cucumber ribbons mocking me. I'm counting in my head, silently nodding each person's share. Jenna's board comes to $15.75, so her split with tax and tip is $18.54. Mark's steak tax and tip hits $37.45. Julia's ravioli is $29.64 after everything. Tony's duck ends up $32. I chalk it all up, digit by digit, daring my heart to keep racing. When the server checks back, I manage a polite smile. "No dessert for me, thanks." My voice sounds too clipped. Julia offers me a quick, sympathetic glance. I force a nod and a shrug. "Try one of ours," she whispers, sliding a forkful of creme brulee across the table. The golden custard quivers under the spoon. I can taste sugar on my lips and envy in my gut. Round us, laughter feels distant, like a radio in the next room. I chew slowly, deliberately, savoring every bite so it lasts longer, and so I don't think about how my friends are treating themselves. I watch Mark lean back, wiping his mouth with a napkin. Jenna and Tony share a look and laugh at some private joke. Julia cleans her plate like she always does, perfectionist to the core. And me? I'm playing accountant. I tap my fingers on the table. I wonder if they notice the way I shift in my seat every time the server glides past. I wonder if they realize I'm doing mental math so I'm not blindsided later. I wonder if anyone here remembers the nights I covered drinks when they were strapped, or the time Jenna spent 2 weeks eating instant noodles before payday. This dinner was supposed to be a fun catch-up, not a balance sheet. But I can't turn it off. My eyes flick to my water glass, clear and unsweetened, and I feel the gulf yawning between their splurges and my austerity. I can almost hear my own heartbeat in the silence between bites. I force myself to swallow, laying my fork across the edge of my plate. "Ready for the check?" Julia asks, her voice gentle but wary. I swallow again, nodding and push my plate away. Because once the check comes, there'll be no hiding these numbers, or the awkward truth they bring. And I'm not sure I'm ready for that moment. But there's no turning back now. I feel the conversation fade as the server places a folded bill before me, its crisp paper cutting through the tension like a knife. I unfold it with deliberate calm, revealing the total, $182.54. My stomach clenches so hard I can taste iron. I glance up at my friends, faces animated a moment ago, now frozen in that awkward mid-smile. My fingers shake as I pull out my phone and open the calculator app. I tap 182. 54 divided by 5 equals, and watch the numbers settle on 36.508. I hold my breath, then tap again to round up. 36.51. Every penny matters. I refuse to let a fraction of a cent become someone else's burden. Julia clears her throat. "So," her eyes flick to my phone like she's bracing for bad news. I close the app and calculate aloud, voice steady. "It's 36.51 each, tax and tip included." I pause. "I'll do exactly that." Her eyebrows lift in silent surprise. The table feels smaller all of a sudden, the space between us growing. I slide the bill toward the center of the table. "And my share is $12.30, I add quickly, tapping the salad price I memorized hours ago. Their plates, their choices, their responsibility. Mark snorts, half amusement, half disbelief. "You're really doing this, huh?" My throat tightens. "I am." My voice is softer than I intended, but firm. I meet his gaze, refusing to look away. Tony shifts in his seat, glancing at Julia and Jenna. No one reaches for their wallets. The silverware clinks against plates as I slide my cash onto the check. 2 crisp tens, a 5 tucked coins totaling 30 cents. Every bill aligns perfectly in a neat stack. Jenna exhales. "I thought we were splitting evenly," she says, voice edged with hurt. I swallow. "That's one way to do it, but I think paying for what we order is fair." Julia folds her arms. "We're friends, Marina. This isn't a business lunch." My heart thunders. I want to scream that fairness isn't cold, it's respect. That I'm exhausted from covering extras when I can't afford them myself. But I only say, "I didn't ask for a free ride tonight." Silence swells as everyone digests my words. The server hovers, clipboard in hand, waiting. I glance at her apologetically, then back at my friends. Mark's jaw tightens. "Fine," he mutters, sliding 20 across the table, his share. "Here." Julia frowns, pulling out her wallet a little too slowly. Jenna counts out exact change. Tony hesitates, then hands over the exact $28 I calculated for his duck confit. I count their bills in my head as the server collects them, nodding the reluctant way they place money in her hand. It's over, done, but the air is thick, heavy with unspoken disappointment. My pulse finally slows enough to hear the tick of the clock on the wall. I fold my hands in my lap, cheeks burning. "Let's get out of here," Julia says quietly, the edge in her voice sharp enough to cut glass. I nod, slipping my phone away. My principles are intact, but the cost, how much it hurts to stand my ground, takes my breath away. As we rise from the table, I wonder if fairness is worth the fallout, and if this line I drew in pennies has just turned into an unbridgeable chasm. And I'm not sure how to fix it. I straighten my back as we step outside onto the sidewalk, but the tension follows us back into the booth. Julia's arms are crossed, her lips pressed into a thin line. "Marina," she begins, voice low but trembling, "I thought we agreed to split evenly." My chest tightens at the familiar accusation. I lift my chin. "Splitting evenly means I subsidize your lobster ravioli and duck confit. I'm not okay with that." Mark nudges Jenna's foot under the table. Jenna's eyes dart between us. Tony's shoulders slump as he looks away. The server hovers, tray in hand, unsure whether to intervene. Julia's jaw works. "This is about pennies," she snaps. "You're making it about pennies." I press my fingers against the wood grain of the table, grounding myself. "No, it's about paying for what you eat. You've never balked when I covered your tab." My voice softens. Just what?" Julia cuts in. "You want us to treat every meal like ledger entries." I bite my lip, tasting the metallic sting of frustration. "I want fairness, I want honesty." Jenna leans forward, voice shaky. "It feels like you don't trust us." Trust, the word lands in my gut like a stone. "I trust you," I say, surprising myself with the quiet conviction. I just don't want to keep carrying more than my share. Mark snorts under his breath. Fine, but this feels petty. I swallow the urge to lash back. Instead, I reach into my purse and pull out the exact change for my salad, $12.30, placing it neatly alongside Julia's crumpled bills and Jenna's coins. The server hovers, her eyes flicking between the money and our strained faces. Tony finally stands, clearing his throat. Look, maybe we overreacted, but this isn't the time. His apology hangs in the air, tentative. He gathers his jacket. Julia grabs her clutch. I can't sit here, she says. I'm going home. My throat burns, but I force out, Julia. She cuts me off with a glance so cold it pins me in place. Some friendships aren't worth nickel and dime scrapes. With that, she turns and walks away. Jenna follows, Tony trailing after with a backward glance at me. Mark lingers. He folds his arms, gaze softening. I'm sorry, he says quietly. He reaches into his wallet and places a $10 bill on the table. For what it's worth, you do deserve fairness. I barely nod, swallowing back tears. He gives me a small, sad smile and walks away. The server collects the last few bills, her expression apologetic as she murmurs, I'll clear your table. I sit alone amid the scattered money and empty glasses, my hands trembling. The booth feels cavernous without their laughter, without Julia's easy teasing. All I wanted was fairness. But when you hold people to the exact cent, sometimes you end up paying a price far greater. I lock the bathroom stall door and slide down until my back presses against the cool tile, breathing in sharp gulps that sting my lungs. My hands tremble as I tug open the faucet, splashing icy water on my face. The mirror reflects a woman I barely recognize, mascara streaked under tense eyes, cheeks flushed, heart pounding so loud I can't decipher my own thoughts. Had I been too rigid? I press my palms against the sink and close my eyes, trying to remember why I'd drawn this line in the first place. Flashbacks flicker behind my eyelids. 3 months ago, I covered Tony's rent when his freelance gigs dried up. Last winter, I fronted Jenna's car repair after her paycheck bounced. I've always been the friend who pays, the nice one. But lately, I've felt that old familiar pit of envy whenever I watch my savings dwindle. A text notification lights up my phone. You okay? From Mia, my roommate. I thumb a reply, long night, bathroom break, talk soon. I stare at the black screen and wonder if Mia truly knows me at all. The faint echo of laughter from the dining room drifts under the door, tight and mocking. My mind spins with memory, the way Julia's eyes narrowed, Jenna's voice quivered, how Tony hesitated before leaving. Even Mark had offered a half-hearted apology, pity, disguised as support. I cup my forehead, the tiles cold against my fingertips, and feel something shift inside me. This isn't just about sense, it's about respect. When I offer help, I give it willingly. But when I ask for fairness, suddenly I'm selfish. I lean closer to the mirror, studying my face. The reflection seems to soften, as if I'm seeing myself for the first time. A woman who has fought too many small battles silently, who tried so hard not to burden others that she buried her own needs. I press a finger to the spot between my eyebrows. It's okay, I whisper, loud enough to surprise myself. You're allowed to have boundaries. I tuck my phone in my pocket and stand, smoothing down imaginary wrinkles in my shirt. The stall door swings open as I step into the brighter light of the sink area. With one last deep breath, I turn off the faucet and face my reflection squarely. My reflection doesn't look broken, just determined. I push open the door and head back through the corridor, each footstep echoing. The chatter in the dining room has stilled. Chairs scrape the floor as a few diners linger. I slip past the host's stand, searching for my table. When I reach the empty booth, I pause. The tabletop is bare, the light overhead humming softly. Deep in my gut, I know the worst isn't over. It's time to return and face whatever comes next. Because some battles you have to fight alone, but no one said you can't come back stronger. I push open the booth door and see Julia's escalated tension in the way she's folding her coat, as if it's armor she's wrapping herself in. Don't pack up just yet, I say, heart hammering. My voice cracks louder than I intended. Heads turn. Julia. She looks up, eyes blazing. Don't act surprised, she snaps, jingling her keys. You knew exactly how I keep track of money. I step forward, every nerve alight. That's beside the point. My hands ball into fists. You think this is about me being cheap, but it's not. Julia's laugh is harsh. Oh, really? Because it sounds like you treated us like ATMs. An electric stillness crackles between us. Jenna and Tony shrink back, their earlier shuffling replaced by tense silence. Mark stands near the window, arms crossed, eyes darting between us. I'm not your ATM, I rip the words out. I care about fairness, not pennies. My chest heaves. I've paid more than my share for years without complaint. Julia cuts me off. Except when it was convenient for you. Her voice trembles. You keep score, Marina. You call it fairness, but it's just another way to judge us. I taste bitterness, hot on my tongue. I'm not judging you, I plead. I'm protecting myself. She fixes me with a glare sharp enough to cut glass. Your way, your rules. If I'd wanted to feel judged, I'd have stayed home and balanced my checkbook. A silence heavier than any word. The server hovers in the background, reluctant to intrude. Jenna's eyes glisten, Tony's jaw is clenched. Even Mark's posture shifts as though bracing for impact. I swallow past the lump in my throat. Julia, please, I breathe, lowering my head. I didn't come here to fight. I came because I value our friendship. Julia's face flickers, anger melting into something raw and hurt. Then, why does it feel like you don't trust me? Her question cuts deeper than any accusation. Because every time I've needed help, I whisper, voice so quiet I'm not sure anyone hears, you've been there. I just wanted to stand on my own 2 feet for once. She studies my face, her shoulders slump. Jenna wipes a tear. Tony exhales a shaky breath. Even Mark's hardened expression softens. Julia drops her coat, voice small. I'm sorry, she says, shoulders shaking. I didn't realize, she trails off, glancing at the scattered cash on the table. This isn't about fighting, is it? I step closer, extending my hand. No, my voice steadies. It's about respect. Julia reaches out and takes my hand, grip tentative at first, then firm. The rest of the table exhales as one. Jenna steps forward, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. Tony offers a small, awkward smile. Mark clears his throat, pushing his chair back. The server approaches, slipping into the circle of reconciliation with the quiet grace of someone who's seen tense tables before. She gathers the last of the dishes. My gaze meets Julia's. Friends, I whisper. She nods, eyes misty. Friends. But as I look around the table, at the faces I've loved for so long, I realize this resolution is fragile, as delicate as the fine china before us. Because fairness can heal wounds, but only if you're willing to bend sometimes. And I still don't know if I have enough flexibility left to keep all these pieces from falling apart. The door clicks shut behind me, and silence greets me like an old friend. My apartment smells of lavender air freshener and overdue laundry. I drop my keys into the bowl by the door and rub my temples, the night's tension echoing in every pulse of my temples. I drop onto the couch, legs stiff, and fish my purse from the floor. I unzip it and count the cash left, exactly $12.30. No more, no less proof that I followed my own rules to the last cent. A hollow pride settles in my chest. The overhead light hums as I lean back, staring at the ceiling. My mind rewinds the evening, scene by scene. The server placing the bill, Mark's hesitant $10, Julia's final glare, the way my hands trembled in the restroom. I replay Julia's apology in the restaurant, the softness in her eyes, and wonder if it mattered enough to bridge the gulf. I pull my phone onto my lap and thumb open my roommate Mia's texts. Mia, everything okay? You took forever. Me, yeah, tough night, be up soon. I set the phone aside and reach for my laptop on the coffee table. The blank page of Reddit's create post screen stares back at me, cursor blinking. My fingers hover over the keys. I start typing. Title, A Night of Pennies and Principles Need Advice Body. I organized a dinner with 4 close friends at a cozy bistro in Portland. Money, been tight, so I ordered modestly and insisted on paying only what I ate, down to the last cent. Words spill out as I recount the story. Every anxious hour of menu research, every taunt and apology, the sharp sting of isolation when friends walked away. I press Shift plus Enter, creating line breaks between paragraphs like small breaths of relief. I hesitate before posting. Vulnerability pins me to the couch, but I need perspective beyond the walls of my own mind. With a final exhale, I click Post. A moment later, notifications light up. Upvotes, comments, messages of solidarity from strangers who have tightened budgets or wrestled with pride. I read one aloud. I've been there. Friendships can be tricky when money's tight. Setting boundaries isn't selfish. You deserve respect. I close my eyes and let the words sink in, warmth chasing away the chill of the evening's fallout. My phone buzzes again, Julia's name. Julia, can we talk tomorrow? I'm sorry, miss you. My heart twists. The gulf still yawns between us, but her message is a lifeline. I type back 3 simple words. Of course. I set the laptop aside and finally stand, stretching muscles knotted by tension. The night outside is quiet, the streetlights casting long shadows across the hardwood floor. Alone in my living room, I breathe in the moment, a blend of relief, regret, and something like hope. I bow my head, whispering a promise to myself. Fairness is my truth, but sometimes friendship means letting go of a penny or two. And as I switch off the light and climb into bed, I realize I've already won something far greater than exact change, a chance to grow. The cafe door chimes as I step inside, and my heart thunders like a drum roll. I spot Julia at a corner table, sunlight catching her hair like embers. She's nursing a latte, swirls of foam stained by a single cherry stain that looks as fragile as our friendship felt. I take a breath and sit across from her, clutching my own cup so hard the porcelain rattles. "Hey," I say, voice small. She looks up, eyes soft. "Hey." We sit in silence for a moment, the hum of other patrons wrapping around us. I trace the rim of my mug, remembering the harsh glow of Bistro Luna's overhead lights. "I'm sorry," I begin, surprising myself with the steadiness of my words. "For last night, how it ended." Julia's mouth quirks into a sad smile. "Me too, I overreacted." She pushes her latte aside and reaches across the table. Her hand brushes mine, tentative, uncertain. I squeeze her fingers. "I never wanted to hurt you. I just needed to feel in control of my money." She nods, gaze distant. "I get that now. I was embarrassed I couldn't keep up and it came out all wrong." Warmth blooms in my chest. We both let pride get in the way. Julia exhales, leaning back. "So how do we fix it? Split evenly sometimes, itemize other times." I laugh softly, relief threading through the sound. "Exactly that. No surprise math lecture. We decide ahead of time, go Dutch, or this is on me, or let's split items." She chuckles, the tension melting. "Deal. And hey, if my lobster ravioli costs extra, I'll own it." I grin, the unsteady bridge between us firming under our shared understanding. And I won't apologize for needing fairness. Julia's eyes brim with something deeper than relief, gratitude maybe. "Thanks for standing your ground." I shrug, pretending nonchalance, but my heart forks into wings. "Thanks for listening." We slide into an easy rhythm, reminiscing about our college road trip, how we got lost in Ashland and ended up discovering that hole-in-the-wall pizza place with 90-cent slices. We laugh until tears threaten, and for the first time since that booth, the world feels wide and safe again. When the server brings our check, Julia holds it up with dramatic flair. "On me today." I raise my eyebrows. "Even better, my treat next time." She grins. "Fair enough." I dig into my purse and pull out my phone, daring a quick mental tally. Then I tuck it away. No calculations, no silent judgments, just trust. As we leave the cafe, the warm afternoon light floods the sidewalk. I inhale, tasting possibility. The air feels different now, lighter, freer. Walking home, I reflect on the lessons learned. That fairness and flexibility aren't enemies, that friends can bridge chasms of pride with honesty and compassion. I realize boundaries aren't walls, but signposts guiding us to mutual respect. I pause under a maple tree, sunlight filtering through rustling leaves. A breeze swoops in, tousling my hair, and for the first time in weeks I feel entirely present. No ledgers in my mind, just gratitude. I pull out my phone and thumb open my Reddit post's comments. Messages of support beam back at me. "Boundaries are healthy. Friendship isn't transactions. Glad you found balance." I smile, closing the app. Because tonight isn't about pennies at all. It's about the wealth of understanding, the currency of trust. And as I tuck my phone away and walk the last block home, I know this chapter is over, but the story, our story, will keep writing itself in choices made together. Fairness and friendship, side by side.